especially for such major
what you're
projects.
saying, your body language and your countenance is revealing that the people of Niger Delta should not expect anything concrete in terms of development from the East-West Road.
No, that is not what I am saying. They should expect something concrete. But I am uncomfortable with the running of projects of that nature.
You are the minister of the Niger Delta.
Yes.
The public, in our own layman's estimate, feels that you are the one in charge of the project.
Of course, yes.
And you are to be held accountable for the relationship between the federal government and the contractor.
Correct.
So, what went wrong?
Good. I will be held accountable to the extent that I work within the confines of the statutory provisions of the agreement that bind the parties.
So the agreement is a faulty agreement, isn't it?
I have always said time and again, those agreements are not strong enough. They do not give government the power of asset control. And
were you not part of the agreement?
You recall that the project was ab initio started in 2006.
But I also recall that we had this conversation and you said you were to revisit the design drafts.
Section 5. And I've just said it now.
So now, regardless of the faults in the project ab initio, going forward now, this administration decided to continue with that agreement.
You have no choice.
How?
You have no choice because by the time you say you want to revoke some of those agreements, the clauses inherent in the agreements may stall the project for another decade because litigation will take place. But the one that we are about to award Section 5, everything about it is neat enough, at least not to weigh against any party.
Would it not be begging the issue? Because now this administration is avoiding litigation, but is that, with the situation now, is it not setting the Niger Delta Affairs Ministry for a future and bigger litigation and perhaps costlier?
I want to tell you, do you know the character of Nigerian contractors? The character of Nigerian contractors or businessmen on a wider scale, barring those who are ethical and responsible in conducting their businesses, is such that at every little inkling, they want to take advantage and reap. So I want to address this subject matter. If the ministry or government is afraid of litigation, it is afraid of litigation to the extent that they will not be held liable by laid down rules of an existing contract. And so, government will not be pursuing litigation when we should be curing things that will service the people. We are more interested in working to deliver. Because if we want to go back and begin to correct, which will lead to the litigations, you may never see the end of that project.
In line with the provision of the agreements, have they been paid?
In line with the provisions of the work content they do, because they do in bits and deliver certificates on which they are paid.
What percentage would you say have been paid on the contract so far?
Well, if you say percent, are you talking about percentage in terms of the entire life project or according to the piecemeal work done or certificates rendered? It's difficult to ask that type of question because a percentage is subject to a wholesome and a wholesome of a certain proportion. That proportion also a ratio of the entire project. So I'd like you to avoid that because you are not an auditor.
Okay, but this doesn't look promising for the people of the Niger Delta.
It does look promising. I'm only saying the reason. I've just told you that 100 billion approved means a greater promise, the greatest promise, of course, because that 100 billion is what the contractors have said can lead them to finish the entire project. So there can be no greater promise.
You just alluded to the fact that you can't put a figure on the project, and now you're saying that the 100 billion naira.
No, I can't put a figure on the total project. You should understand me. If we have been spending 10 naira in January, 20 naira in February, 13 naira in March, and so on and so forth, and then in December I want to say we 20 naira will finish the work, it's different from saying I can't put a figure on the entire January expenditure to December. I want you
now
to get me right.
Let's come back to the local intrusion into the project that you highlighted of River State government building across without the provision of drainage canals, and which is causing flooding in the area. Do you see that as an act of sabotage?
No, it couldn't have been. I don't think any government wants to punish its people. I believe that once the attention of the relevant government is drawn to it, they will cause the contractors to create a remedy. No government would want to punish its own people.
Now, you also cried out in several publications that the Ministry of Niger-Delta Affairs is only able to access 10% of the entire allocation from the 2018 budget.
2018 budget, I didn't cry out.
But it's all over the dailies.
Yeah, I said it when I was addressing the National Assembly committee. But 10% is first release. No budgetary provision is released at one time. And so they keep releasing. For instance, in the budget of 2017, 73% was achieved.
But in 2018 budget,
in
what
2018,
what percentage has been released?
So far, 10%.
So far, 10%.
Yes, because...
So that confirms what's in the dailies.
Of course you have said it, and I have said it, that I said it. I haven't cried loud. I said it to the Committee on Niger-Delta.
But what's responsible for this slow and sloppy release?
You can't release what is not there. It is good, it is time for Nigerians to understand that the money is not just there. Nigerian government today is borrowing to build infrastructure. You don't tell me that you have money and you go out to be a debtor. The money hasn't just been there. I have said it several times that this government is just trying to exhume the dead corpse of Nigerian nation in terms of economic management. And if this is not understood, then we will keep misinterpreting the actions of government.